still have room for more, 'cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. 'Cause I'm a black girl for your love. For your love.
to take the picture, but you rolled your eyes. Now I'm mortified and still terrorized. Push me behind to get me from my better side. I wanna push you back, but that's all you want. Wanna wrap me up, I'm holding back. Trying to get me framed, throw me in cuffs. Said I attacked you, that's just a false truth. No need to argue, and yeah, I've had enough. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone. I find you there. There's more to me. Everywhere I try to go alone, I find you there. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. Oh, there's more to me. Anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. I find you there. I'm so scared to leave my house, so I cannot run free from this. Always being watched by you, and that's so inconsiderate. My privacy, does that exist? Probably haven't heard of it. Need to live a different life, cause lights and cameras are in it. Trying to find a silver lining. All I wanna do is avoid the violence. But you're here again, I'm losing it. There's no more screaming in silence. Get out my face, turn off the flash. I hate the fame, no more of that. Leave me alone, or I'll collapse. I need a break, don't feel the crack. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. There's more to me. Everywhere I try to go alone,
Alrighty, here we go. So, welcome to Straight Up RC. This is my first attempt at going live, so had a little bit of a delay. So, and welcome to Straight Up RC. But alright, so what I'm going to do in this video is something that I wanted to do as far as recording it and then posting it. But that process is kind of annoying, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way, where I do it live, directly. Everything's going to be seen straight up as I do it right from the get-go. So that's kind of the point of the channel, Straight Up RC, right? So what I want to do is, I have an old Redcat Racing Sumo. These are little 24-scale RC cars. They were being sold by Redcat Racing like 4 years ago, I believe it was, and they're really hard to get a hold of now. So the parts are even harder to get a hold of. And the reason that I wanted to do this is because I need to replace this piece right here. This is basically a chassis piece that goes underneath and protects the power control board, and it fits on just like this. And the reason I need to do so is because I'm missing one. I don't have one, so I need another one. So I'm going to go ahead and try and use Onshape, which is the same program that I use to do some of the custom 3D design stuff for some other RC stuff that I've done. But I want to use that program to kind of basically duplicate this piece. And it shouldn't be too hard because this piece in itself is pretty rectangular and very basic. It's not really advanced. It doesn't have a lot of curves. It should be pretty simple to replace because I've actually made a few more pieces that were a lot more complicated than this. So I'm going to try and knock this out as quick as possible. Just a simple, basic shape replacement that's going to fit this and go right underneath the bottom of the Sumo. So, basically, from my point of view, as far as Onshape goes, the program that I use to do all the 3D design stuff that I have, it's a basic CAD program. It's your basic layout, front, top, right, 3D design aspect. This one in itself is going to, every time you make something, it's going to show up just like this every single time. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn off some stuff that I normally turn off. And these are just panes that you can use to draw on. I don't need those right now. So basically here it is. And this is like the view that I'm going to have as I'm building. I can manipulate the view top and bottom. You can kind of change the angles and stuff. So you can rotate, you can pivot, you can do things like that. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is basically get a good view of what I'm going to do. All right, so now, I'm going to use a multimeter. I am going to be using, wow, I lost the word for this entirely. Good grief. Calipers. I'm going to be using calipers to measure everything that I need to input into the system when I'm doing just lengths and distances and things like that. And like most RC cars, we use millimeters, so I'm going to have it set to millimeters. You should be able to see it pretty good. These calipers are really, really useful when it comes to trying to create 3D products or 3D designed anything, because you need to be really specific with how it's going to fit and the exact shape that this is. So on Onshape, though, I need to change my Workspace Units because it's automatically in inches. I need to change it to millimeters. And you can do a bunch of stuff. Inches, meters, feet, centimeters. Of course, I'm going to go millimeters. So, all right. Let's see, top. And like I said, this is a pretty basic shape. So all I'm going to do is get the basic rectangle made. So this says 63.7 by, and I'm not going to worry about these ears yet because these little bitty ears are going to come into play later. So 67 by 23, and we'll do 23 point, make it smaller, so 23.4. All right, so I have to put a sketch down so I can use some of the tools to draw, and in this I'm going to use just like a corner rectangle. I'm actually going to use the center rectangle. This center point rectangle is going to work off this little center point, so all I'm going to do is this. And right now it thinks the box is 82 millimeters by 232. So I need to change that distance and one of the hotkeys in Onshape is the letter D, and it'll let you change the distance of a line, one of these little blue lines. So I'm going to put that there, and it was 67, I believe it was, 63.7. So I can do exactly 63.7. Here we go. And let's see. Okay. And then the other one was 23.4. So 23.4. So perfect. There we go. Now I have the shape that I want. And this is just like, I guess you can say, a starting point. This little piece is the overall size of this rectangle specifically. And on the bottom of this Sumo, there's only 5 or 6 things that have to be there. And 2 of them are the holes at the top that mount to the bottom of the chassis piece. And the other 4 or 5 are the 4 holes for the bolts that go up top. And then the on and off switch. These holes are basically for air, I think, to cool down the power control board under here. But I don't have to make those. I can if I want to, but I don't have to. So maybe I'll cut something out of there, maybe I won't. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the on and off switch on, because I know the on and off switch has to go at a very specific point. So I'm just going to measure like the distance here and the distance on the side. So the distance off the back wall is 3 millimeters. Right? So I can go in here and I'm going to use a line, the exact halfway point, and I know it has to be, this has to be 3 millimeters. So that box starts at 3 millimeters. And the box in itself is 3.32. So we'll just say 3.35 to save face. So 3.35. And the distance, or the width of the box, is 5.35. So we're going to do the same concept here. Well, actually, you know what? I need to do this. So we need to go over here, and we need to do 3.35. That's the width of the box. Let's check again. Yeah, it wants to do 3.4, but we'll do 3.35. And then we're going to take this little bad boy right here again. And it's cool because Onshape knows the exact center of that line, so it lets me draw the rectangle off that center. So we're going to do this same distance, 3.35. Should be the exact same width. And the length again was 5.4. And so we're going to take this full length here, 5.4. Bingo. That made this little spot right here. Okay, so when we go to extract all this plastic, the on and off switch should fit exactly where it used to be. All right. Now we got to figure out where the holes were, and those are going to be a little bit more tricky because you can't exactly do an exact hole position center. I can't measure the center of the hole, so it's not really going to work. So we're going to measure the distance of the hole from the wall, and it has, let's see. These have got to be pretty specific. If these aren't in the right place, you're going to be kind of in trouble. So I'm going to do 5.4. So I know this needs to be... no, don't go that far. So this needs to be 5.4. We're going to move this in so I can see. This one too. So the outer circle is going to be 5.4. Now from the sidewall we have 1.1. So from here we do 1.1. Alright. And then the diameter of the hole itself, which is going to be kind of tricky. It's going to be a little rough. Alright, zero it The holes are... Looks like they're 2mm screws, because if they're 2mm screws and it's a 2.1mm hole, 2mm screw will go through real easy. So I'm guessing these are 2mm holes. 2.15, 2.15-ish, 2.15. All right, so we got to make the basically a 2.15. So we're gonna follow this dot and match right there. This is going to be basically a box. It's the same diameter as the hole. Right? And then we can go to the circle and we can find the center of the box, because this program knows where it is. So we're going to find the center of the box right here. Here we go. We're going to make a circle. And the diameter is going to be 2.15. Bingo. There we go. So now we have the first little hole. Now what I could technically do, I think I can get rid of this. No, I don't want to do more distances. Get off of there. So I can get rid of the box now. Okay. Perfect. I can move this line because I know how much this is. So I'm good there. And that line. All right, cool. Now, the circles are, see how far away apart they are? They are, looks like, I'll go on the bottom, easier. Oh, okay. Ooh. We're going to do 4.25 away from each other. All right, so here we go. Center line. 4.25 away from each other. Ooh, not what I wanted to do. Don't like that. All right, so let's put this line back, because I think that's why it's going away. So 4.25. And man, it's tough because I don't know if they're actually that. Let's see. I don't know if the holes are that far apart. Let's line up the holes on the bottom here. No, see, it says 4mm. So we're gonna do 4mm apart. Yeah. My tips might not be able to get in there far enough. So let's do 4mm. Nope. Have to do it again. Let's see. Is it going to make me move off that? Oh, it is. All right. You know what? Let's see. So let's go here. Eesh, moving my circle. I don't know why it's moving my circle. So, using a program like this that you're not fully aware of everything that it does, clearly you can run into issues like this. So, I don't know exactly how far that is. So, what we're going to do instead, I'm going to try and do the distance of the outside of the holes, which technically should be 8mm. About 775. So let's do this. We'll go from here to here. We're going to do 7.8. That should be the outer wall of the second circle. And then we're going to do the same line here. No, it's distance. Don't need that. Same line here. One. And we're going to take the square, meet these up, and do the same here. Okay. middle again. Bingo. There we go. Now we have the 2 circles and the on-off switch hole where these are supposed to go. And some people out there that know Onshape better probably are like, you're doing this way wrong. But that's okay, because this is the only way I know how to do it. So this is basically how I'm going to do it. So let's get rid of this line. Can I get rid of that line? Should be able to. Yep. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and, now that I have those 2 holes, I'm going to get rid of that and that. Oh, come on. There we go. So, there we go. Now, I know where those line up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go over here. And I'm going to go this way, all the way down to the bottom, just for reference. That way I know to start my next one. Okay. I don't think that line is straight. That line is definitely not straight. All right, and then we're going to sort of do that again. Let's go from here. Okay. And then we'll go here. Distance 1.1. And then we're going to go here. Here, make a box. Oh, here we go. Actually, you know what? Let's not do it that way. Let's try this. Make a line up. Okay. 1.1. And then, you know, it needs to be, the hole needs to be 2.15. Find the circle, find the center, 2.15. Perfect. Line, go to this side, this line, 1.1. Now basically what I'm doing is I know that the distance of the holes need to be 1.1 millimeter outside of their, or away from the wall. So I am using the distance from the wall and the straight line that I made to connect the 2 circles. So they're basically the exact same point, and they're going to be the exact same distance from the wall. So that way the measurements are all the same and the holes are in the exact same place that they need to be on the part that I print. So this line needs to be, there we go. And we're going to find the center again because its program is smart. Oh, or not. Here we go. So now the circles should all be in the exact positions that they need to be, just like that. And we've got the 2 bottom and top circles for the screws and the on-off switch. So when we start to pull the plastic up and change the depth and everything, now we're going to know exactly where we need to go. Let me get rid of this little line. And basically every time I'm trying to delete something, like let's say I'm deleting this little line right here, I'm hitting the delete button. Easy as that. Just this little line, hit the delete button. Same thing. Anytime I want to delete something, like let's say I want to delete this line, delete button. That's simple. Alright, let's see. So that's the start of those. And we're going to go, now if I wanted to draw something again, notice my buttons are gone. I can't because I exited what's called the sketch, this little sketch right here. So I need to go back into it. There we go, pulls it back open and I can redo stuff. So now I know that these should match up whenever I start to make the plastic look like it needs to look. It's pretty simple from this point, kind of, because what I want to do or what I need to do is all I need to do is make this piece extend all the way out to where it needs to be. But the weird part is where these holes are is thicker than the rest of the area. So I need to know where these like kind of guidelines are. So I'm going to have to measure those out and draw those on here. So I need to know kind of like the shape. And it's basically like putting blocks together. All I need to do is know that this is a rectangle, this is a squarish kind of rectangle, this is a rectangle. So I'm going to build those rectangles and then build off of those. But technically speaking, these little raised portions, I don't need these. This piece can be relatively flat, except for the depth that this piece is compared to this piece has to be different. So all I have to do is know those distances. That way I can change the depth of the plastic. So what I'm going to start with is simply knowing this area right here, this small little area's rectangular size. So this is, we'll say 15.75 by, we're going to go with an even 6. Even 6 should be fine. So, and then I'm going to go over here, just get corners, and I'm going to put a rectangle right here. So, what was it? 15.75? Yeah, 15.75. Okay. And then I know that this was 6. I think we're doing 6. Yeah, 6 even. So, and this will be 6. So that's going to create the rectangle right there, right? And then I'll be able to change the plastic sizes and all that nonsense. Now, the other side should be the exact same size. Just double check. 15.75 and 6. All right. So 15.75. Oh, I missed the square there. Missed the square. There we go. The program knows to like match locations and corners. It like snaps to the pieces right there, so it works perfectly. I don't have to go back in and make sure I'm right on the dot. So there's my 2 little rectangle spots. Now I know that these positions are thicker than the rest of this base piece, which is perfect. That's all I need to know. Now I can technically make this side piece thicker really easily, and all I need to do is know how thick this is. So this is what? 1.25. Now I could, when I'm going to go draw in all the other pieces, all I got to do is make those size. But the trick is here that I need to know this right here. I'm going to need to know this shape right here. So it's not exactly easy to determine those distances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 2 points to figure out where I need to cut in. And this shape in particular is more important than this one, because even if this was squared off, because it's not squared off, it's kind of like angled right here. Even if this is squared off, it's still going to fit. So all I need to do is know how long this piece is. So this is about 15. We're going to say 15, right? Let me get over here onto this side. Come on. Why aren't you moving? Come on. All right. So we know that this piece right here is 15. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So all I need to do is go off that middle point again, because it knows where the middle is. And I'm going to do 7.5. And then I can go here. I know that's where it needs to be. And let's see, the distance of this to here is about, we're going to say like 3.5 millimeters. So this right here should be 3.5. Of course. All right, we'll do it this way. We'll do it the line direction. That way it doesn't. Okay, so 3.5. And then this is a straight line over. Come on. Oh, that's why. I'm not on the line. You got to click the little line button. Otherwise it doesn't work. All right, meet there. Perfect. So that little corner is going to get cut off right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So 7.5. I can make a line here. We'll just put it in here. 3.5. 3.5, right? Yeah, 3.5. Go this route. Make it exact. Yeah, it touches right there. Yeah, it's like, zeroed it. And this little tab at the end of these calipers is really cool. So it stops there. Go in until it stops. And see, it wants to do 3.27. Again, I don't even need to go that far. Let's see what this side says. Yeah, 3.4. So you know what? We're going to change it to 3.4 because I like that. 3.4. Move that line in. 3.4. There we go. I'll draw a line here. Bingo. So now, when I make the plastic thicker by extruding it here in a second, those pieces are going to be cut just like that. This piece is going to be cut off, and there's going to be a hole here, and there's going to be holes here. So the rest of this shape in particular right here is going to be the hardest because this is going to have to extract up. So this will be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit interesting to mess with that. And like I said, I can make this piece right here because we know it was 1.25, and we know this entire wall is basically about 1.25, which is perfect. So all we have to do is come here. We're going to draw like a rectangle. Oh, nope, not there. I'm going to draw a rectangle right here. We're going to have a bunch of different rectangles here. And the distance of this one, let's see if it doesn't try and get mad at. No, wrong one. We want the distance of this. Now, see, it's not going to let me. All right, so we're not going to do that. So here, we're going to do a line here, 1.25. Did it not work? There we go. We're going to do it here, 1.25. Here. Wrong one. And then we're basically going to make that 1 millimeter shape the whole way around. Now I've got the line for the outline of this shape, which will be kind of like the little tiny line gap right here. This entire wall is going to be printed up now. There you go. That is the basic shape of this piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to just fill these pieces in real quick. I'm going to fill the plastic in. That way we can kind of see what it's going to look like. And they're all a little bit different in terms of depth. This piece on the bottom there's no way to measure it because the walls are kind of too far and wide. But basically the piece on the back side is about 3 millimeters. Though where the screws are is the same 2.8 with 3 millimeters. So I'll probably use about, yeah, I think I'm going to go with 3 millimeters directly. It'll be the easiest thing to print. So 3 millimeters should sit right on the screw mount holes and should fit perfectly. And like I said, I don't need to extrude these extra pieces, like these extra little pieces that are kind of lifted right here, because I won't need to. There's no reason for me to go any further than the depth that I need to go just to get the plastic to sit like it's going to sit. So what I'm going to do is on this piece in itself, before I get into more detail on these little screw parts, I'm going to just go ahead and extract or extrude the parts that I know the thickness of. And I'm only guessing the bottom because I think it's going to be 1 millimeter. So these parts in particular, they're going to extrude at 3 millimeters. Okay, it's gonna leave out the screw holes, and then we're going to take this base piece right here, okay, including the walls. Well, we'll do the walls separate. So we're gonna do the base piece, and we're gonna extrude that. And because I'm not 100% sure, I'm gonna do 1.25 because I think that's the depth that it's at. So we're gonna do 1.25 there. And that's going to put that piece like that. Like I said, it's going to, because I didn't select the square here or the circles, those parts didn't get extruded. So here we go. Now we're going to do the wall. And that was what, 2 millimeters? It's 2.9. It's about the same as over here. So we'll just go ahead and do it to the same. We'll do 3 millimeters. So it's going to put all those pieces at the same height. So there we go. Perfect. Now it's basically a piece that is going to mimic this almost exact same piece, just like this, except for the difference being is that the holes and the extra cutouts are not complete yet. So I'm going to cut those out. And I also need to make these standoffs on that other side, which is pretty easy. We're going to do that in a second. I'm going to take a little quick break real fast here, and then I'll be right back to redo all those. So while I'm gone, enjoy the logo and enjoy the music, and I will be right back. So, after the little break there, now I need to make the standoff pieces. And the standoff pieces are going to be kind of interesting because, well, they're not exactly directly in like a direct spot on the square or the rectangle. But all I'm going to do is figure out exactly how big the standoff needs to be. In other words, how tall this is, how wide this is, and how far out it is. That's it. I'm just going to do a square, or a rectangle, just like I've done with the rest of basically the entire shape. So I know where this point is right here because we already cut it out right here. So I know that this, if I can get it to turn here, this spot right here is the starting point of where this is, like right here. Right here is going to be basically where this curve starts. So let's see. So we got a 5.4 width here, and distance from the inside of the wall we'll do from the outside. This way I don't even have to worry about it. So the outside is 5.3. So 5.3 by 5.5. So that's maybe 6. Yeah, and theoretically I can make it as big as I want, but I want it to be about exact. So 5.5 by 5.4. And the spot that it goes on has room. So the width is the only part that is important, because the gap right here between this screw and the battery mount, because this is the battery mount on the side of the truck, that screw mount and that battery mount are the only parts that I need to make sure that they're in the right spots. So that distance is all that I need to make sure. So the width is the only thing that matters. And that, again, is 5.4. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn off these parts so I don't see them right now. And I'm going to make a new sketch basically where this piece needs to go. I'm going to make a brand new sketch, and I'm going to make a box. And that box needs to be 5.4 by, and like I said, I only have to match the width, so I can make the distance as far as I want. And I can do 6 from the wall. I think it was 5.3 on the outside. 5.3, 5.4. So we'll do 5.4 just to be, just to save face. 5.4. There you go. So that is basically the shape of this little tab on the side here. And we know that, like, the tab in itself starts on the wall. So what I want to do is I want to shape this off. So we're going to put this here, and then I'm going to make a line here and a line up. So basically that's going to square this whole shape off. So if I wanted to select this whole shape, that would be this tab right here. And I could leave it as a square, but I'm probably not going to leave it as a square because, man, why not, right? So let's make it a circle, and we're probably going to need to make an exact rectangle here. So 5.4, and I guess it's a box, right? Oh, that's why my let's see. Yeah, see, that's 5.6 on the outside. I'm gonna do 5.6. I just don't trust that one piece. So yeah, so there. Measure 3 or 4 times and cut once. That's like the trick, right? And the beauty is that we can measure this depth very easily. So looks like 9.6. So what we know is that this piece is going to, my thing will, there we go. Okay. This piece right here is going to stand up from the bottom all the way out. Okay. It's going to stand up 9.6. So we're gonna go ahead and make it real quick. 9.6. So when all these look the same, that part is going to stand off like that. Now, obviously, it's like cut up and in, and we should be able to make that happen when we go back underneath. What we're going to do is we're going to just cut away the bottom part. That way the screw piece isn't so far. So, all right, so let's see. Let's go back to the top. So all I want to do right now is just simply reproduce that exact same square or rectangle on the other side that we have both tabs. So, and I already know the shape and size because, well, we already measured it once. So 5.4, and we know So there you go. Now I've recreated these exact two shapes, and it's fairly simple. They're basically going to duplicate what we see here. So the only thing I got to do now is basically make the holes for the screws, and those got to be pretty specific. But I'm gonna just do the exact same thing that I did to this side, where I measured the mounting screws back here to this side. I'm just gonna measure how much space I have between the hole and the wall in 3 different sides or 2 different sides, and I'll have a distance, and then I'll be able to cut the hole out where the distance needs to be. So for now, I want to try and make these look like they are here. So I'm going to create the pieces up, and then I'm going to cut away what I don't need, because it's kind of how you have to do it. Otherwise, I could start from a different starting point, but I didn't do that. So let's see. So we know that this mount piece is probably going to be like the other side, and it's probably going to be about 3 millimeters, 3.07, but let's round down. Why not? So all I'm going to do is pull the sketch back up, pull the pieces back up, and we haven't cut this piece out yet, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Let me get rid of this piece real quick, and I need to extrude. Oh, let's get rid of that. So we're going to extrude these 2 pieces. In fact, there's a little bit of a trick that I can do here because I've already extruded this block on this side. So theoretically speaking, all I need to do is go back into the extrude aspect, the extrude window, where I extruded the first two pieces. Now all I need to do from here is it lets you pick pieces that you want to extrude into a new or the same distance. So all I'm going to do is add those two pieces to the same face sketch that I extruded. So now it's both the little rectangle standoffs are extruded. So here we go. This is about 80% done. It's got the screw standoffs here on the back, this little flat portion here, and it's going to have these screw mount standoffs where they need to go. And like I said, all I need to do is get the face down where it needs to be. So, and like, let's see, we're at 3 millimeters, and the extrude it goes down from the base. You're gonna go down. Go down. Okay, it goes down 6.3 millimeters. So we're gonna go, and like I said, all I have to do is go from the bottom. Okay, the bottom of these two parts here, and we're gonna be able to select these squares, right? So we're gonna select this little square and select this little square, and we're gonna extrude, but we're gonna extrude the other way. We're gonna remove. We're going to go backwards, and we're going to take away everything that's there, but we're only going to go 6.3 millimeters up. Bingo. So now it's created the standoff. Now it looks like it's supposed to on the part piece, just like that. So now all I need to do is get the hole where it needs to be, which it's in a really awkward spot, but it shouldn't be too hard. So we're going to do it just like we did on the other side. And I need to know the distance of the hole from basically one wall and the bottom wall, and I can make a square and make a circle. That's kind of how my brain works around making these things. So I'm going to measure how far away that hole is from this wall first, and it's 3 millimeters. So from the top, what we're going to do, we're going to make all the parts go away real quick. We can keep them just to do it with them still here. So we're going to sketch on top of this little block. And I need to know that was 3. These got to be pretty specific, because if these aren't in the right spot, the screw is not going to line up with the base piece underneath where it's supposed to, and it's going to really suck. So we're going to do... Yeah, it's like 3.1. I really hope that's right. Let me check the other side. Yeah, we're going to do 3.1. That's about as close. And I can probably make the circle a little bit bigger, because if I make the circle a little bit bigger, I don't have to worry about it so much, because then the screw will just kind of fit in the hole and it won't be exact. So what we're going to do is we're going to do from here up is 3.1, right? So from here, oh wait, I need my line tool. From here up, 3.1, and that one was in the center, right? Yeah, it looks like dead center. Okay, and then I need to figure out how far the hole is from the sidewall. Looks like I have 1.8. 1.8. I'm going to go with 1.8 because that sounds right. All right. So we're going to go about right here to here. And 1.8. So that circle is way off, isn't it? There's no way that circle is that big. That's the right distance. Yeah, see, the distance of the hole on the outside is 1.8 as well. So that would put this line here, 1.8. And do these match? Let's see if these match. Yeah, they match, but that's so 1.75. The measurement is showing about 1.9. This is showing 1.75. So probably going to have to, yeah, that's a 1.9, which gives, it makes sense. It makes sense because the screw is probably 1.75. I didn't measure the screw in itself, but that hole's got to match. So I'm going to make the hole a little bit bigger than that. Because maybe because if this hole is at least exposed by the screw, the cap head of the screw is probably going to hold it on. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'm going to make this line here. And this will kind of give me an idea where I need to start from, because it basically needs to be in the middle of this. So I am going to do a 2.2 hole, because that should give me plenty of room. So a 2.2 millimeter hole in that piece should encompass exactly where this needs to go. And it should match up, because, I mean, this is like machine perfect. So that basically just needs to match up. And I think I'll have enough. I think I'll have enough play with the 2.2. Maybe even do 2.3. So 2.3. Okay, so same concept here. In fact, we're gonna do it a little bit easier, because I know this outside is 1. What is it? 1.8? No. Yeah. 1.8 away. So we're gonna do a line. Should give me the exact same measurements too. 1.8, and then this line is 1.75. Yep. Yep, same thing. And then we're gonna do a circle, center circle, 2.3. So those two circles should be identical. All right. So basically now what I can do is I can go out here, I can pick this piece, or not this piece, sorry. I can pick the circle, right? And this circle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that away from the rest of the plastic, just like I just did a second ago. So do the same thing, extrude. We're going to just do like 5 millimeters, because see, it wants to create a pole here. But we're going to remove, merge with everything that's underneath of it, which is going to be all the parts, and bingo, there we go. That is the basic structure of exactly what is the bottom piece of the sumo plate. So that piece looks just like this. Well, somewhat. It's going to look just like this. The only difference being is I don't have these little walls raised right here, which I could if I wanted to. I could raise these up. I could raise this up. This kind of looks like it basically kind of sits along the battery covers right here. It just kind of sits right here. So those pieces just sit on the battery covers and kind of press up against it. Because the battery covers are there, these little sidewalls are irrelevant. I don't need to add these sidewalls if I'm not using them for anything particular or any kind of mounting purpose whatsoever. There's also these little indent lines right here. You're probably not going to be able to see them. But there are these little indent lines right here on the bottom. That there's like a piece of plastic that's sitting out like 1 millimeter for some reason. I can't imagine what it's there for. Maybe to hold the wires, which isn't really going to matter because we just need it to cover the base. And the last thing that I want to do is I want to add some holes. Some simple flare, right? These can be, I can theoretically cut these out. I can cut circles out. I could technically cut whatever I want. I don't necessarily have to make these little arrows. So I could theoretically do whatever I want. I could draw a giant R if I wanted to. So for here, I'm just going to sketch right on top of the base of the plate, right? I want to do 4 millimeter circles. All right, let's see. Pretty simple. I'm just going to make a couple of lines here that measure out my circles exactly. And we'll do 7 millimeters apart. I can make as many as I want or as little as I want. Like I said, these are pretty much only for air, so it doesn't really have to be that dramatic. And I'm probably not going to drive these around a lot, like a lot. So there's really no point in making a bunch of circles and getting all crazy with my air here, my airflow. Not necessary. Okay. Here we go. Now I have these 4 circles. I can pick the 4 circles. And I can do the exact same thing. I can extrude and remove from everything. And it doesn't matter how far, because there's really not that much stuff, but I'll just make it smaller to make it smaller. Okay? Bingo. Now, instead of the little triangular lines or rectangles, whatever, little arrow shape, now I have 4 holes. Simple as that. And it's going to recreate the same little airflow design for the PCB board on the bottom of the Sumo. Just the same. There's really no different. So now there's one particular thing or 2 particular things that I want to kind of duplicate. That way it makes it look a little bit better. You know, it makes it look a lot more similar. So one of the things is these rounded corners on the standoffs right here for the mounts. That's pretty simple. All I need to do on Onshape is pick one of the options that allows me to basically create arches and such. So all I need to do here, okay, is, and if you look at the tools up top, there's these little tools right here. These are all like kind of extrude, revolve. You can sweep, you can move things, loft, change like the angles and stuff. And I'm no engineer. I don't know the exact sciences of all these things or exactly what their sole purposes are for. I just know it makes the shapes change. So that's basically why I use it. But there's some more here. You can create holes in objects. You can create a shell, which is really cool. because if you have a cone, you can shell out the cone. You don't have to deal with it. And what we are going to do is we're going to do something called fillet, kind of like a fish fillet, but not the same. Fillet just means to take away, basically. So we're going to take these two little corners here by selecting them right here. Okay. And I want to round those off or fillet them. So I'm going to select those, click this, and then it's telling me that it wants to do 15 millimeters as a radius. That's a huge, this thing's only like 3 millimeters. So we only need to go really small, right? 2 millimeters. Bingo. So I could do 1 millimeter. I could probably get away with 2 millimeters, even 3. Maybe not even 3. Yeah, 3 barely makes it. Makes it kind of super round. So we're going to go 2 just to make it easy. And there we go. Now I have a rounded off mount piece just the same as we see on the actual stock piece. It's probably not as round. Like I'd have to get real specific and go, like, let's see, 2.5 might do it. Yeah, 2.5 almost closes the gap. Whatever the case may be, I could do 1 if I wanted to. But again, there we go. Now I just filleted the corners off, made it a little round mount off piece, or a standoff piece for the mount for the screw, just like on the stock piece. So we're going to do the exact same thing, and like the trick before, where I went into the one process that I had already done, which was the extrude. I can go back in the fillet, and I can change. I can add to it says entities to fillet, which means pieces, basically. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to select the other corners that I want to do the same thing to. So this one. And that one. Bingo. Perfect. Just like that. Go up top. There we go. So that is one thing that I wanted to do, because I wanted to be able to create that same little arc, circle, half circle, whatever shape on these little standoff mounts. So now it looks almost exactly like this. It's almost identical. Great. Now, again, I don't have this arch piece right here because I don't really care to put that in there. It doesn't need to be exact, and as long as the shape is the same, it's going to be fine. The other thing that I need to do, because this has a very particular mounting process, is it uses countersunk screws. And the countersunk screws go into these 4 holes right here, but they have like a little pocket, like it's countersunk. If you're into RCs, you know exactly what this is. You know exactly what a countersunk screw is, or a button head screw. And if you don't know the difference, countersunk screws seep into the plastic, seep into the wood, whatever material you're mounting the countersunk screw to. So that way it remains flat. Now, I don't have to do that on this piece. I could technically just leave it flat and use button head screws, but I kind of want to try and get those a little bit kind of countersunk. That way they can, when the screws that I'm going to use, which are going to be the same replacement ones, can go in it. They have a little bit of a pocket to sit in. So basically all I need to know is like the depth here. Let's see. Or the diameter of these countersinks. 4.5. So basically on the bottom of the piece, I can go to these exact same circles here. And I can take the wall, this little corner spot, and I can do another step that Onshape has, which is, I want to say it's chamfer. I don't know how to pronounce the word exactly, but I want to do that. It's basically countersinking, but the word is in whatever language it is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So, and I don't need to go far. Like, I barely need to go any. So we're going to do, and see, I don't even need to go that far. The cool part about this is I can do a distance and an angle. So we're going to do a distance of, like, let's say, I think it's like maybe a millimeter off the edge. But the angle, and you're going to notice here that this angle is going to change dramatically. I can go up with the angle or down with the angle. And the angle is very, very small. I don't need to go very, very deep. So we're going to do like a 25, maybe, not even like a 20. Now we'll do 25 to save face. And see, it's going to create that little shape for the countersink to sit in. That's it. That's all I need to do is add a little bit of kind of like an angle to it to where it literally countersinks it just like it's supposed to on this piece. So there's that one. And then I go back over here and I click these and it's going to do the exact same thing. Bingo. Perfect. So now I've countersunk these two pieces. That way when the screws go into the two top pieces and the two bottom pieces, they're going to sit down just like they did on this. And I don't think there's really anything else that needs to be like done particularly. Because, like I said, the way that this thing sits on here, the basic shape is going to go flat on where the stock piece was. And that's it. It's going to go exactly where this should fit. So this screw mount, this screw mount, those four holes, where the on-off kind of button is or switch is on the PCB, you can still reach in there and you'll still be able to hit it. And I think that box is a little bit bigger. So that should be it. So that's the basic duplication process of a piece that you can take and break down into basic shapes, squares, rectangles, circles, and ovals, and create a replacement of a piece that's not exactly completely unobtainable. I could probably find one of these on eBay. I could probably find an online seller on of the piece. I could find a roller Sumo RC that has the piece on it. I might be able to do something of that nature, but why when I can simply just try and duplicate it just like this? There's one little thing that I'm going to add just for flair. You'll notice that, you might be able to notice, these edges are kind of rounded a little bit. Probably so it doesn't fit super snug in there. I don't know. Maybe they just felt like molding it that way. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to simply take, and I'm going to take this line right here, and I'm going to do that same fillet. But I'm not going to go crazy. See, it took away a whole bunch. We're going to do like 0.75. There we go. And it's going to give me that same little angle. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to this side. Bingo. Now I missed a piece. See? I missed a piece there. We need this piece too. Whoa. Okay. And where'd it go? And that piece. Oh, I unselected. So we're going to do this. Did it take it away? Why are you taking it away? There we go. It's being a pain. Ooh. Alright, anyways. This. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and take away this part because it's being annoying. We're going to do the same to these two pieces. 0.75. And then when I put this piece back on, there we go. There we go. So here we have it. The exact part, well, not exact, but a pretty close duplication of the part in question. When this piece basically gets printed out, it should be around about the exact same size. And like I said, the opening for the on-off, the two screw mounts here and here, and these all should mount up. So clearly I'm not going to do the 3D print live on this particular video because this particular piece is probably going to take about 2.5 hours to print. And not only that, I'm actually printing something right now. I'm printing an RC stand right now. So This will have to get printed and shown on the Facebook page later. Maybe do a little tiny, quick, short video install of how well it fits. I'm hoping that once I have it printed out, I'll be able to literally take the piece and put it on. That simple. And put in the screws and everything will be good to go. So I'm really hoping that's the case. We'll have to find out. So we'll have to find out. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, Instagram, all that nonsense for when I actually print this piece out. Could be a day or two or so, depending on when I feel like printing out or how well the printer wants to react to me trying to print it out. But as always, thanks for watching. Anybody who's here or stopped in live, thank you for stopping in. If not, anybody who's watching this after the live broadcasting, feel free to leave a comment down below whether or not you'd like to see some more live installs of parts or accessories or anything like that. I have no problem trying to do that. This particular process, I wanted to do it this way simply because, well, either I would just record it and post it up in a 3-minute little quick, literally how-to video, or I could do it live right on the spot, and you could see exactly from start to finish how long it took me to recreate a piece as simple as this. Now, this isn't exactly the simplest thing to recreate, but based off the duration in time, minus the interruptions and delays that I had for the video, you can kind of guess how long it would take to recreate a piece just like this using a CAD program. So, again, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys on the next one.